Welcome to my channel, all of you. Today in this video, I'm going to take you through the NMAT examination, how I took it at my home. So NMAT at home is what we are going to deal with in this particular session. And in this session, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through every single aspect of the NMAT examination, starting from your admit card to how the place should look like when you're actually looking at taking the session from home, and what are the kind of things that you can carry with you, what is that you cannot carry with you, and how does the interface look like as you progress into the entire examination. And finally, we will have a complete analysis of the examination that I took on 21st of November. So my exam date was 21st of November. That is the only slot available for me in the month of November in Chennai. And I took the full exam. The entire 2 hours I was there, and there was a proctor watching me take the examination. And I'm going to share my experience with you and let you know what the NMAT experience was this time taking from home. So unlike all the other years, last 6 years I've been taking NMAT at the center. This is the first time I've taken it from home, and let's get into the video and try to understand what is required and what do we look at when we set up our home for the NMAT examination at home. So let me just start off this video by showing you my space, my desk where I took this test, and what can be there and what cannot be there. What did the proctor ask me to remove from my place? What was he okay about? And then after that we'll get into the examination and how the examination looks like, right? So this is where I started off my exam and did my exam. So let me just take you closer and let's have a look at it. Okay, so this is the desk where I sat and took the exam. First and foremost, I have my laptop here. I have a camera, which is a movable camera, so I can just remove this and show a 360-degree view of the entire room. I have a mic here because I thought my internal mic may not be a great place to, great mic to actually talk when I'm taking a video. That's why it's here, but it was there when I was writing the exam also. In fact, the proctor asked me what is this, and I showed him that it's a mic, and I took it, turned my camera and showed it to him, and he was okay with that. So I had the mouse with me. I have a pencil out there, my admit card, and 2 sets of paper. And you're supposed to show the paper very close to the camera, let them know, whether that the paper is blank. And apart from this, I also had my Aadhaar card and my PAN card with me. There were mobiles kept on my table, which I removed at the time of writing the exam. And I showed them this bottle, which is my drinking water bottle, and they told me this is not allowed. And I asked them I would like to drink some water while I'm taking the test, and they asked me to get a transparent bottle. So I replaced this bottle, and I replaced it with a transparent bottle. Now, also I was asked to keep my desk clean, which means this was not allowed for me, so I had to remove this. I also had to remove my mobile and keep it outside the room. So I had to take it outside the room and I had to remove it all. I showed them my printer and I told them this is a part of my desk, but then he said it would be better if I can remove the printer. So the printer was also gone from here. So if you look at the entire table, by the time I started writing the examination and I was ready for the exam, I'll show you how my table looked like. And this is how it was. I had my paper here, my admit card here, 2 sets of ID card, one signature ID card and a photo ID card. My bottle was replaced with a transparent bottle. I had my camera, I had my external mic and my laptop with a mouse and a pencil, sorry. And they very specifically asked me that whether this is a wooden pencil. I showed them that this is a wooden pencil. That's how I started off my test. Now, before I got into the test, they asked me to take a scan on the camera of both my IDs, my admit card, and they also asked me to take a scan of this white paper and show them that it's all white. And then they asked me to sign on this particular white sheet and then show it close to them and take a photograph of it. So they took 2 photographs. One was my photograph sitting in front of the camera, and the other photograph was of my signature, which I signed in front of them and took a pic of it. Now, one other thing that the proctor asked me to do during the examination before I started the exam was to actually pick my camera from here and show him a 360-degree view of the whole place, right? And then he told me to actually show what is there under the uh, table. So, he said, asked me whether there's any space, are there cupboards? I said, yeah, there are cupboards. He said, is it closed? I said, yes. He said, can you just show me? So I showed him the place and he was okay with that. And then he told me that once we start the exam now, we are not going to move. So, which means he asked me, whatever is there with me, is it sufficient to start the exam? And I said yes, and he gave me a go ahead to start. Okay, so this was the place where I did the test. Just to give you, because lot of people were asking me, sir, can you show us how the online examination happens when it's taken from home? I thought this is a good idea, and this gives you good enough understanding of what infrastructure you need. So you need a mic, a camera, a mic, you need a laptop, you need the admit card, two sets of your ID proof, your mouse, your pencil. So that's all that you need to take the test. Let us now understand how the exam works, and let's look at the process of starting off this examination when you're taking it from home, right? So first and foremost, you would have received a mail from NMAT by GMAC, and it's called the exam appointment confirmation. I would want all of you to open it up and have a look at it. You'll receive this before the examination, about 48 hours before. So my exam was on 21st, and as you can see, I received this mail on the 19th. Right. So open up this mail, and once you open up, it has all the details. It gives you the date on which you're going to take the examination. It talks about, where is what's the time slot at which you're going to take the exam, and this is important. Please check and keep it ready. Scroll down and you will see the standard rules for taking the exam. It talks about everything. So it says log in 15 minutes prior to the exam. ID cards and documents should be ready, and you can also go and check out what all ID cards and documents are required, and it's mentioned there. And you can also check your system readiness here. So everything is very clearly mentioned. You just have to go and check it out here, and do that a day before. Also read through and see whether the room that you are going to take the test, all these conditions are being met. So very clear and very nicely written down process out there, and read that nicely so that you have no surprises on the day of the exam. Now, after you have read all this and you're very clear, and the day you start the exam, what you can do is you can just go to the NMAT by GMAC website. And as you, when you filled up the form, you must have seen this website also. So now you have a user ID. So to log in, so click on this and log in into the system. So once you click, it will give you your email ID and your password, and then click on login, and you go on to your dashboard. Now see, in this dashboard, when you're here, there will be this begin examination area, and here you can see begin exam tab, and this is where you're going to click to start the examination. So you can just go here and click and start the exam from here itself. Now, once you have gone here and you have started off, clicked on this particular tab, this tab is going to take you to the Examity website. So Examity is conducting the exam this time over, and if you can see here, this is the interface of Examity, and this is where you will be clicking, and you should check that all this is in place already. So ID card is being uploaded and all details are there, and you can just click on this, and it starts off the testing process. Now see, one thing to be kept in mind is when you're getting into the Examity portal, that's where you're going to write the exam, and it'll again show you the date, time, and check everything is fine. In fact, you can only log into this website 15 minutes before the exam. If you try doing that before, it'll actually throw you this error. So I tried to actually log in about half an hour before. It was not allowing me to do so, and you need to just make sure that you are there 15 minutes before to start the exam. So if you see here, it says please turn off the pop-up blocker. Very important, because your pop-up is going to be from where you're going to connect to the proctor. If the pop-up is not pop-up blocker is enabled, then you will not be able to connect to the proctor. Okay, so make sure that it's turned off, and then once you log in, it'll so 15 minutes before, once you click on it, you will get an ID verification process. That's automatic. It will do it on its own. You just have to wait. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes for that to happen. And then it will say, click proceed to connect to your proctor. Here again, it's saying pop-up blocker to be disabled. So make sure it's disabled and then proceed to connect to the proctor. So there's a proceed tab, click on that, and it says click OK to join the meeting in another window. So that's why you have this pop-up blocker to be disabled. Click on OK and you go on to the window. Now see, this is a very familiar window for all of us. I'm very sure you all know this window. This is a Zoom window. This is where your exam will happen. So you're going to be there on Zoom sharing your screen, and somebody is going to watch you from the other side. He will have the access to your screen, and he will ask you to share the screen and take you through various parts of the screen if he has any doubt. Okay. Now it says join with computer audio. So do that. And once you do, you will be now asked to share the screen. And by that time, I had stopped taking any of the videos, because you can't take any more videos there because you're with the proctor now. Now the proctor will take you through the entire process. Once again, he will give you all the instructions. Listen to him carefully, and then he will ask you a lot of questions, and he will also ask you to inspect, request you to show him your room. So your desk, your room. So what I showed you at the start of this video, he'll ask you to do all that. If there is something that is not to be there on your table, he'll ask you to remove that. When I was starting the test, I forgot to keep my mobile aside, and he asked me to remove the mobile, so I kept it outside the room. You're not supposed to have anybody else sitting in that room. He'll ask you to have a nice check under your table, a 360-degree view, and he can stop you at any point of time while taking the test. So while I was doing the test in my English section, there was a point when my video started flickering, and the proctor came in and he said he asked me why the video is flickering, and I told him I think it's a network issue, and he told me that he needs to see the entire room once again. So I had to actually take him through the room and then do the whole process of giving him a 360 view of the room before he allowed me to commence the exam. So make sure that you don't do anything silly. Once you sit in front of the proctor, you cannot move out of that place. So you have to be there. You cannot even go out of the camera, because you're out of the camera, your exam gets disqualified. By any chance, if your internet gets disconnected, you can wait and the proctor will help you to reconnect to your internet. If your link is down for more than half an hour, your exam is as good as cancelled and your money is forfeited. So make sure that you have a good connection, you have a backup and everything there with you when you're taking the test. Now, once you share the screen, he will actually check whether there's any other browser running. Is there any other application running on your screen? And then what he will do is he'll also ask you to show him the task manager. So you have to open the task manager and review the task manager in front of the proctor. He will have a look at the task manager, and everything is fine. He will allow you to proceed. Now, once this is done, he will ask you to show him the admit card, which you'll have to pick up from your table and show it in front of the camera. You'll be asked to show your signature ID, your photo ID, after which he will ask you to basically, sit still in front of the camera and take a picture of yours. There's a picture button. And then he will ask you to sign your white paper and show it in front of the camera and click and take a photograph of that too. And after that, he will ask you to show the pencil, which he will inspect whether it's a wooden pencil, and he will ask you to show 2 blank papers, and those 2 blank papers, both sides have to be empty. Okay, so that's the formality. Now, once this formality is over, your exam process starts. So the pre-exam process starts now. So what all pre-exam formalities are there? You will be reviewing an agreement, a disclaimer, agreement by NMAT saying that you are not going to disclose any of the test content, and you need to agree to that. And then you have an 8-minute tutorial. You will go through the tutorial where it will take you through every single button of the screen. Please do that carefully so that you don't miss out on any of the facility provided to you. And at the last part of it, it will ask you to select a section, and you have 2 minutes to select the section. So the whole thing is for 10 minutes. And in this 2 minutes, you need to find out which order you will have your section. So choose your section wisely. So I choose it as QA, LS, and LR. So I started with maths because I am typically very comfortable with maths. I went on to English because it's a shorter section. and then I always end with LR because that's another strong area of mine. So once you have gone there and done this, selected the section, you can start the test now. Now your quantitative ability paper has got 36 questions, 52 minutes you have to complete that. 36 questions in language skill, now you have 28 minutes to complete that, and 36 questions in logical reasoning, 40 minutes to complete that. Totally 120 minutes, 108 questions. Maximum marks you can get is 360. So this is very clear. I put so many videos for you before as well. I'm sure you would have done that. You are very well aware of the paper pattern, right? So that's how the paper looks like. So equal number of questions. You have the least time in logical reasoning and the maximum time in maths to do the paper. Now, while I was doing this paper, this is how my breakup looked like. So if you look at the screen now, you can actually see as to what is the kind of questions I got. So I got 3 questions from permutation and combination. I had 2 from probability. So permutation, combination, probability itself was 5 questions for me. And then I had a question in set theory, typical NMAT paper, 2 in ratio, 1 in simple interest, 5 in profit and loss. So that's arithmetic out there, 2, 3, and 5, 8. And then I had a question from logarithm, extremely simple question, a question from mensuration. Again, another arithmetic question. So one more question from arithmetic there. And then I had 2 on very simple divisibility, 1 on AP-GP. So totally 9 questions which came purely from arithmetic. Rest of them spread across, and then 5 questions from PNC probability. That's about 14 questions from these 2 areas, and this was an arithmetic heavy and a modern maths heavy paper for sure. And it's a very typical NMAT paper, because if you had written the previous year's papers, you would have realized this is how the typical NMAT paper is. I had data sufficiency, 4 questions, 1 from linear equations, 1 from number system, 1 from time and work, and 1 from percentage again. So 2 more questions out there from arithmetic. So that makes it 16. And then I had 3 sets of DI. I had 2 tables and 1 bar graph. Each of them were having 4 questions, so 12 questions there. Now see, how was this paper? What is the level of this paper? Extremely easy paper. I would say this is way easier than last year's paper. And last year we had 48 questions to be done in 60 minutes. This time we have only 36 questions to be done in 52 minutes. It was way easier to crack the paper. There should be no reason why you should panic. You can go ahead and finish the paper comfortably in this 52 minutes. Okay, so it was an easy paper to do. I would say this is much easier than the last few years paper. I see the cutoff going up in the quantitative ability section. Then you had the language skills. The language skills paper had 3 reading comprehension which I got. I had 12 questions coming from there, 3 from prepositions, 5 from sentence correction in grammar, and then it was 12 questions from vocab, but not direct vocabulary like antonyms, synonyms, or something like that. You had analogy, 6 questions, extremely easy ones, and then sentence equivalence, which was again extremely easy one. So vocabulary wasn't tough at all, and there were 4 parajumble questions. Totally 36 questions in this paper again, and I felt 28 minutes was a very, very good time to actually solve this paper. So RCs weren't tough at all. It was easy read, and questions weren't tricky as well. Prepositions was extremely easy. So I would say gun for the preposition. You should definitely finish this all. You should finish this all. You should be able to at least do 4 out of 6 here. You should be able to do 4 out of 6 out here. And sentence equivalence and parajumble were extremely easy. So parajumbles, I think that you should be able to get all the 4 out of 4. So paper was very easy. Probably in the RC part, you may not be able to read all the RCs, but then I could read all of them and I could answer all the questions in the reading comprehension. I felt, and I'm sure, you know, a student who is good at RC will be able to complete this paper very easily. So again, 28 minutes is 6 minutes more as compared to last year's paper. And in English, this year we are seeing 1 extra RC out there. So I would say it was a bit kind of on the moderate side. I would not say it was extremely easy, because RC you need to read 3 of them. So if you're not good at it, you will not be able to do. But for a person who is good at language skills, this was a cakewalk kind of a paper. So it was easy for them. So people who are not good at reading, probably they would find it a bit difficult to complete the paper.
definitely try to complete it, because NMAT claims that this is an adaptive paper. You have the logical reasoning section, and as usual, logical reasoning was not easy. And input output question, there were 8 of them I got, and this was not easy at all. And in fact, my paper started off with input output. We had I was very surprised not to see any questions on directions. There were no questions on family tree that I got. I got no questions on series, which is a typical NMAT logical reasoning paper. So I did not have any of the questions from series as well. I had a very simple puzzle question, a very, very simple analytical reasoning arrangement question, 2 syllogisms question, and then I had a whole lot of verbal reasoning questions. So you had 2 here, and 5 here. That's 9 questions. And then I had 3 assumption here, 3 strengthening here, and 3 inferences here. So that's 9 questions. So 18 out of the 36 questions came from verbal reasoning area, and 8 of them came from input output. I think this paper wasn't extremely easy to do, because the verbal reasoning part was tricky, and the analytical reasoning and the puzzles were all very easy to do. So overall, still this was a manageable paper. It was not tough, and you could easily do this 36 questions and complete that in the given time. So that problem of not completing the paper does not exist, because verbal reasoning questions are typically not very time consuming, right? So it was not very tough to complete the paper. So what are the level of exam? This level of exam, if I look at 2015 to 2019 NMAT papers, I would say this was among them the easiest. I think this time NMAT has tried to play it easy, because it was told that it is an adaptive paper. You cannot go back to the questions. So you can only keep moving forward, and you can only move forward if you have selected the answer, because the moment you try to skip a question, it says you have not selected the option for the answer. So either you get it right or you get it wrong, but you cannot go back, you cannot review your questions, nothing. So I think they've tried to make this question easy, and the paper looked much more easier when it comes to quantitative ability. It was much more easier than last few years when it comes to verbal ability, which is language skills. But it was of almost similar level if I look at the logical reasoning section of this paper. Was this paper an adaptive paper? I really doubt, because I tried all my best to figure out whether it is adaptive. I tried doing questions, I tried skipping questions, I tried getting them wrong deliberately, but I didn't find this paper was adaptive. The questions were thrown up randomly, and I think NMAT is just trying to play with your psychology and trying to tell you that this is adaptive. I really don't think this was an adaptive paper, because I did not see questions actually matching my level. So it was not that, I was doing a question wrong and I was getting an easier question after that, or I was doing a streak of five questions correct, and I was getting the next question as a tougher one. It didn't happen like that, because I had those DIs where I could get all the DI correct, but then the question which followed after that was a very sitter kind of a question. So I really don't think this is adaptive, and Matt is just trying to fool us all by saying that this is adaptive. So what does the sectional cutoffs look like? So I think the overall cutoff is going to go high every year. NMAT has ranged between 207 to 211. This year, I think the cutoff will go beyond 240. So 235 to 240 is what I feel. But I would say, to keep yourself safe, if you have not cracked the 240 plus, go for another attempt. If you have cracked 250 plus, I think there is nothing much to worry. But 240 plus, I would say second attempt you can look at, so that you can improve on your score. Anywhere from 235 to 240 is where the expected cutoff will go. And I don't think this paper is so tough and it's easy to crack. I think it's really easy to crack that 235 to 240 marks. Quants looks like the easiest part. Looks like sectional cutoff should go beyond 80. LR was similar to previous few years, so I think it will hover around similar cutoff. But I'm keeping it a little bit high, because earlier we had 40 questions to be done in 38 minutes. Now we have 36 questions to be done in 40 minutes. So I think people will be able to score more. And there were not those tricky questions were actually missing, although there were input output questions more this time. But the tricky questions like your questions on series and all were missing, and verbal reasoning was more in the paper this time. So I think people who are good at verbal reasoning are going to be cracking this paper. So 70 plus will be a good score to look at. Language skills in the last 4 years, the highest cutoff ever for language skill was 60. So I think it should be a 5+ on the previous year's paper. So it should be about 65+ that we will look at. So if you are getting any of these sectionals of 80+, 70+, and 65+ in the 3 sections, you can feel safe in the sectional. If you're getting anywhere 240+, you should be feeling safe. But I would say 250+ will be an amazing score to look at and to be sure of making it into Nasimuch, right? So if you have any other question, you can ask me in comments. I'll make sure that you get the answer within 24 hours. I'll be happy to answer any queries out there. So please feel free to add your question there, and I'll get back to you with the answer. So thank you so much, and please don't forget to subscribe my channel. This is Ajay Zena signing off, and I wish you all the best for your NMAT and the CAT that's that's on 29th. I hope you all do your CAT really well and crack the NMAT too. So all the best, guys. And if you have a question, put it on the comment section. Subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.